Hey! So, little update. I finished sewing the boning channels on the corset and moving ahead with that. I then got stuck for a while going, do I do the flossing first or do I do the binding first? And after watching a lot of more tutorials, it seems like most people do the binding of the top and bottom edges first. So I decided, okay, I gotta do that then. Which meant I needed the boning. Well, I was already fighting I only have half the boning already cut that I have. And I don't have much money right now because of the pandemic. And I got really lucky. I happened to have boning of different sizes that were larger than I needed, so I was able to cut them down. And this was the first time I trimmed them down with a Dremel, which was so much easier and faster on me and the process to use the Dremel than it was to use like tin snips, or I had these really oversized wire cutter things that I had used, up until this point. So Dremel's my new go-to for that. And then of course it's because I don't have the right tips, or tipping pliers. I don't know, crimping tip pliers. I'm not sure what they're called. Anyways, so I have to use a couple pliers and go around multiple times and pinch the little tips on. Luckily I had a bunch of those as well. I only had 2 straight bones that I actually had to cut. The rest were all spiral steel. So and I don't have any tool dip, and I don't know if I trust a method that I saw somebody else do, which is to use heat shrink film that you normally use in electrical things to cover the tips. It seems great if you're doing it dry clean only. I usually just hand wash my corsets every once in a while, so that didn't seem... It seemed like a good idea, but not a great idea. So I just covered them with nail polish and called it done. And of course I cut one of them the wrong side and had to go back and then cut another one and put another tip on that one. And then I got them all in, and hemostats are little tiny pliers that lock. And I like them for boning because I can shove them in exactly how far I want them to go into the channel and then pull out the pliers. Also really good if you accidentally put in the bone in the wrong channel. You can kind of go in and grab it and then pull it out without having to do like this crazy massage thing to get your bone out of a channel. So helpful tip, they're cheap. I usually would buy them at like a swap meet, but those aren't happening right now. Harbor Freight usually has them. They have them in a couple sizes. There's also ones with a slightly bent tip that I like a lot as well. They're handy for a lot of things. Also good for pulling needles through fabric that doesn't want to let it go. Just saying. And I like that they lock, so I don't have to sit there and, hold quite as tightly on the pliers and the needle and everything. I can just clamp it on, and then I can just very gently do that. So that's that. So then, let's see. So I got the bones in, and then I did the binding, and I hate making my own binding. It's not the best thing in the world for me. But I did it, and it's somewhere, well, back there. By the way, those are my combinations behind me. It's your sneak peek. I'll have to display them soon when I move over to the other side and get the dress form out in my studio. So then I was able to start the flossing, and I got really excited, and I did the first 2 channels, or I did the first channel, or first end of one channel, and it worked fine, and then I moved over to the next one, and the thread I got, which I think, oh, here it is. I thought it was going to be good. You know, silky, strong, and washable, dry cleanable, and I you know, it's the perfect color, matches beautifully the ribbon on the combinations, and this is the Sulky brand. So I was like halfway done on the second one, and the thread just spontaneously went nope and snapped. So it's like, shoot, I need different thread. So I got back to my studio, and I got this thread, Dual Duty XP All-Purpose Coats and Clark, which I already happen to have because the ribbon match is actually a costume dress that I had made that's Pirates of the Caribbean, Black Pearl, Keira Knightley has to eat dinner with the pirates, or eat dinner with the Captain Barbossa in the dress from a questionable reputation woman, or she has to eat with the crew naked. So that dress is this color, and at least in my world, and so I left over from that. So that one I did just a kind of a strength test, and it snapped. So then I had to go to the store, which is an ordeal right now, because I can't pick out thread on the internet. I don't trust the way they copied the color. I don't trust, their color matching. I don't trust my screen and trying to match on a screen. Backlit things are different than even a printout swatch. So I had to go to the store. So I'm at the store, and there's a sale. Buy 3, get 2 free. Thread. Mix and match. Okay. So I bought a few different ones. Not sure, which one would be perfect. I found one that was kind of silky, because this one's like got a bit of a satiny finish, but it's fairly dull. And this one is nice and silky, and I wanted a silky look. So I'm actually using Coats and Clark upholstery thread. I also got the button thread and some other really strong thread that they happen to have. But the silky upholstery thread, it's working good for me. I did break a needle hand sewing. It's not the first time it's happened, but it's the first time it's happened when I wasn't bending a needle. So that I had to, fish out the little bit that was stuck inside all the layers near a seam, which was fun. But I got it out, because I don't want that attacking me later. And I happen to have plenty of needles. So swap my needle, and it's going fine now. So I've basically been going across. I started at the back because that's where I can build my practice of the flossing. Because this is the first time I've ever flossed a corset. I've never done this before. I've always admired it. Never done it. Usually I just use the sewing machine and go back and forth a few times at the top and bottom of the bone, call it done. So this time I'm doing flossing to do that. And I might have to, go back and still use a machine stitch. I don't know. We'll find out. It's a fun experiment. So, sorry, it's so hot in here, and I can't turn on the air conditioning or the fan while recording. So, it's very hot right now where I'm at. It's been close to 100 for over a week, pretty much, and no end in sight. So, I got half my corset done, well, a little bit more, with the flossing that is my minimum requirement. There's a little bit more that I want to do. Maybe. I don't know. Luckily, the black satin is pretty heavyweight and doesn't seem to show my, hole poking adventures with needle and thread or the sewing machine or anything. So it scars minimally, which is really nice when you make a mistake and have to take it all the way out. And I did have to redo the flossing on that first bone, and who knows if I also changed the pattern, because what I had anticipated doing was one pattern or design that I decided I don't like it. It looked good on paper, but it did not look as nice as I wanted it to. It'd be different if there were other things going on in it. I don't know. So I decided to, when I had to, then I switched patterns, and then my thread broke. So now I'm doing a different pattern, and it's going pretty well. And I'm watching tons of other YouTube people making their corsets and underwear and petticoats and stuff. And right now I'm basically, like, while I'm working on flossing the corset, I'm basically planning the next item, which is kind of like a bum hip pad. Not so much for like super badunkadunk, but just enough to kind of smooth out the shape and just give the skirt something to sit on. It basically is more of a skirt support than anything. So I'm basically been researching that, like, how big do I make it? What design do I use? What did they use for materials? What, back in the day. So I've been doing a lot of research in that. Came up with, or found some clever people that used aluminum foil to get the shape of the curve. And I'm like, well, that's great, but then you waste all that aluminum foil. That's not very good. That's not nice to the environment. But I think I have just enough of a wire plant. I don't know where it ended up. It's basically a kind of a thicker wire that's coated in rubber. Well, that's reusable. It's like a giant twist tie. So I'm just going to use that to kind of get the basic shape of the curve. I haven't decided quite how far down it's going to go. It's going to require a lot of mirror play, to get, I think, the overall design and shape. So I haven't decided about doing further embroidery on the corset in addition to the flossing, but basically as soon as I get done with the flossing on the bones, I can do that flossing at any point. So it can be I'm waiting for thread to arrive or some other supply that I need for the next step. Let me think about this pattern a little longer. In doing the embroidery, if I decide to do it, then it doesn't change the corset any, but it'll give me something to do while I'm thinking on something. So that's good. And of course, when I bought thread, I found Halloween fabric that is suitable for mask making. So I will be doing some of that soon. Well, after this video, I'm going to be back into mask making because people still need masks and they're going crazy for Halloween fabric. You can't find it in the store. I haven't found it in the store since basically this all started. It's like, oh, it's coming, and it's gone. And right now the stores don't know what they're getting when, and they don't anticipate getting any more Halloween fabric in, and it's not even September yet. So the people that I know that have been making Halloween fabric masks, they're selling out before they even finish making them. So I got some stars that George wanted a mask out of, and I think that's kind of pretty and nice. And then I got these skeletons, and this is actually kind of a really tight knit fabric, but it has really good detail. Camera's not focusing on it, but anyways, it's got pretty good detail on it. And then right next to it, I found this other fabric that is similar. The skeletons are a little bit bigger, and they glow in the dark, and it's kind of got this little splattery background, and this is flannel, so it's actually better than just cotton quilting fabric, in theory, according to scientists that have done the tests. Excuse me. They say it's a little bit better at preventing microbes and, well, not microbes, but spit and small particles from passing through. So they'll have one layer of that and then one layer of the regular woven fabric. I've also got this really fun stripy, swirly. It reminds me of the fancy French papers that you sometimes see on the end papers of books. So that's fun. And then I'll be backing most of them with this purple, and I got kind of this, wow, that's showing up yellow on my screen. I call it pumpkin gut yellow because it's very similar to the meat, I guess you call it the meat, of pumpkins and musquashes. So I'm going to have that as a inner layer because white against skin is not the best thing. It shows your makeup, takes it right off and then keeps it as long as it can. And I find that having like a little bit of accent kind of brings out it makes the mask just pop. And I'm not just making the ones with the fitted cup shape faces. I'll be like this. There's two, and you ties on. Yeah. But I'll be I'll be doing some of the pleated ones with the elastic loops as well. I had to order more nose wire because I was almost out, and the store that I had been buying it from, it was a seasonal item. I was using it in an off-brand way, but it worked great. And they've been holding up because George is so mean with his masks. He folds them in half, shoves them in his pocket, pulls them out, folds them in the other way, and they haven't broken yet. So these new ones that I'm getting are going to be flatter. So, and they should be here, I think, tomorrow. Maybe the next day. I've got work to do before they arrive, but they're flatter. So that will be a little bit better, I hope, for some people. Because what I was using before, it had kind of like a little bit of a bump to it, which is good if you're wearing glasses and you're not wearing it too high up. But if you wore it too high up, that was a little bit distracting for your vision. So, yeah. Let's see. I think that's kind of about it. It's been hot and miserable and humid. It's been so humid. It's normally not humid here. Where I am, it's normally you're looking at like maybe 15% humidity, but at this time of year, it's usually closer to single-digit humidity. And it's always, at least it's a dry heat, because you don't sweat as much. And when you do, it evaporates and it feels good. Humidity, you got your sweat and then all this extra moisture, and it's all sticking to you, and you just feel gross and sticky the second you get out of the shower. And that's why I don't live on the East Coast. It's always hot and humid in the summer. And it's been hot and humid here, and I just can't believe it. And it's been humid for so long. Let's see. Oh, I had a water main leak that had to get fixed on my side of the meter, so my problem. And next week, my bathroom floor is going to get torn up because apparently there's some damage that needs to be repaired. And there's, yeah. I didn't need these expensives. The good news is, I think some things are going to start to open up a bit. There's an outdoor pop-up market that I'm going to do next month. And I bought, I bought, clear vinyl, like, tablecloth stuff, because I'm a little paranoid about getting sick. I don't want to get sick, and I don't want to get somebody else sick if I'm like a carrier or something. So, but trying to get plexiglass right now is really hard. Like, hardware stores are trying to keep up with demand, and they can't, because their suppliers can't, and so on and so forth. They're not used to sudden, boom in business in one particular area, and with no real heads up. Hey, in 6 months, you're going to sell out of all your plexiglass. Let's get the factories to start ramping up production. No. In fact, right now, the factories are probably working at half staff because they've got employees that are sick and quarantining, and they need to keep their distance. At least I hope that they are treating their employees like valuable people and not expendable people. Yeah. But I did find clear tablecloth material, and I got all scared that I wasn't going to be able to get that, because now people are making kind of like, it looks like a beekeeper's veil, kind of, and it's got a clear window in the front, and then some net in the very back, and then fabric to use for PPE. And then I've also seen people doing like the surgical style mask with a window over the mouth, so that people who read lips can read the lips. And I was gonna get, I was like, oh no, am I gonna be able to get some? Stores haven't run out of that yet. So, yay. So I got some, and I'm going to, if you've ever seen my booth, I kind of have like a sign, and then pieces of wood that hold up the sign, and then I have my little register counter like area. So I'm going to put the clear vinyl over most of that, and then anything that doesn't fit on the bottom, like little area where I'm going to leave a gap, anything doesn't fit there, I can just reach around to grab and whatnot. So I need to figure out how I'm going to attach that, and I don't want it on there permanently. It just needs to be on there good enough, for long enough. So I'm not sure. I might kind of finish it like a tarp, with folding the edge over like a piece of fabric webbing or something, and then grommet at the ends and tie it, or bungee, or maybe nails. I might build like a little frame. I'm not entirely sure yet. But I've got it, and that's what I'm going to be doing soon. Also, because I only have one bathroom in my house, and it's not like I can, use a neighbor's facilities if I need to right now. So, I'm going to kind of hurry up and finish the bathroom portion of my outhouse. It's a composting toilet. And some of you are going to go, ew, good. You can do your research. And poop is gross, yeah. What you do is you essentially get a bucket, and you do your business in there. Preferably your number twos only. And then instead of, and you use your regular toilet paper, go ahead, stuff that in there. As much TP as you want. Actually, it's actually better to have more than less for the whole thing to happen. And then you have, instead of flushing or adding water to it, because that's just going to make it wetter and stinkier, is you actually add wood chips. So after your first movement in there, you add a little bit of enzymes which help break down the bacteria which causes the stink and causes hazardous conditions, like E. coli and stuff. Anyway, so you put that in there with a couple earthworms, and they will very quickly go to work on making it a happy thing. Once it starts to really go, start working, which is going to take a couple movements, then it basically smells like dirt. At least that's the idea. If it doesn't, I will be very quickly getting rid of the system. But I only really need it for one day. So that's good. And I have the wood chips, and I have the bucket that has the lid with a seat, so it will feel a little bit more like a camping toilet. But yeah, I'm going to need that day because I'm going to have a bunch of guys that are strangers working on my bathroom. Mostly from under the house, but yeah. I won't be able to use that facility that day. So, working on getting that ready, and because I'm going to be having it in the backyard, I need a little bit of privacy. It would be nice anyways. So, I've got some shower curtains and I'm just going to use that. And I think that's about it for an update. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Or can I? Nope, I'm done. So, more masks coming up, and I'll catch you later.